are so excited to get to give you an in-depth look at the Alumni Association trip that we've partnered with Experi on. We have panelists that have so much energy, expertise, and information they'll share today, and each one will give you a little bit of information about themselves as they speak, but also I want to give you just a little bit of information about who you're hearing about today. First, you'll hear from Bruno, who is a travel director coming to us from Spain directly. He will be on the trip with the travelers, and wait until you get to meet him just a bit. You're going to want to get to spend some quality time with him. We are so lucky to have Melanie and Joe from Cinder Winery not only joining us today, but also joining us on the trip. Cinder is one of my favorite wineries. Getting to spend time with Melanie and Joe is always great. You will feel the exact same way when you get to spend some time with them. And we have expert past travelers with us. Amy and Chip Toll went on the Bordeaux trip, and so they're going to share a little bit about when we say the Experi trips are pretty amazing, they're going to say, nope, they're not kidding. They really are. And they might even have some tricks and tips to make your trip even better. And we've got Erica here from Experi. She has been instrumental in making sure everything with this trip works. Erica, thank you. I will also throw into the chat the link for the trip. But with that, let's make sure that the reason people have joined us today, let's focus on that. Bruno, could you please walk us through what people can expect on this amazing trip?
Of course, thank you very much. One of the most special regions in Spain and maybe in Europe in terms of wine and gastronomy. They have the highest levels of quality in all Spain and Europe, and you are going to enjoy the tradition of the winemaking in Rioja. They have made wine since for centuries. And you can feel the flavor of the tradition of the old styles. When you arrive to La Rioja and you visit all the wineries, you are going to feel it since the first moment. The landscapes are amazing. For me, the most beautiful vineyard landscapes in Spain. Very small plots with very old vines. Surrounded by mountains, Sierra de Cantabria in the north and Sierra de la Demanda in the south, makes a beautiful valley. They have this microclimate because of that. They are continental but with Mediterranean influence. With the Sierra de Cantabria that stops the clouds from the humid Spain, from the north of Spain, and makes the perfect conditions to cultivate the vineyard. You are going to feel the tradition and but not only we are not only to visit old style wineries. We are going to visit very modern and avant-garde wineries with amazing architecture, in there. And of course, a part very important of the tour are the tapas. You are going to enjoy the tapas. I know very well the city of Logroño, where we are going to stay for 3 nights. I have I choose a hotel near the most famous tapas street in Logroño, Laurel Street. You're going to enjoy a lot. 5 minutes walking from our hotel, to be free to go there, come back to the hotel when you want. Very safe city. In Spain, you will see that you can walk alone in the streets. You are not going to have any problem. And of course, the 2 big cities in Basque Country in the north, Bilbao is the biggest city of the tour, where we will enjoy the architecture of the Guggenheim, the Franz Gehry Guggenheim. We will enjoy the tapas, and San Sebastián. San Sebastián is like the capital of the the tapas. They say pinchos in the north, pinchos, not tapas, but it's the same concept. And it's the last city of the tour. The wineries will go in the center. It's like a triangle. Well, you can see here in my map of the wines of Spain and Portugal. You can see here, we are going to make like a triangle. Bilbao, Rioja, San Sebastián. This is the triangle. Bilbao, Rioja, San Sebastián, and then come back to Bilbao to fly to come back home. The central part of the tour will be the wine part, and the initial and the last one will be more in the first case of Bilbao, to visit the Guggenheim and some very nice points of the city, and the last one to enjoy more the tapas and to have a walk in the beautiful city of San Sebastián, my favorite city in Spain. I go every summer there because it's beautiful and incredible, and they have the best restaurants in Spain. It's the I don't know if it's the city with more Michelin stars in Spain or in Europe. It's amazing. They have a lot of 3 Michelin star restaurants, some 2 Michelin stars, and a lot of 1 Michelin star restaurants. But they have very traditional restaurants too, and the tapas bars are amazing. It's a city of the food. You will see you have very good gastronomy everywhere. And then, well, one of the highlights of the tour is the winery Marqués de Murrieta. I don't know if you know the Marqués de Murrieta wines, because it has been awarded like the best winery of the world. They have sent to me a newspaper saying best winery of the world in terms of winemaking and wine tourism, and they are in the top 100 with more 100 market points too. This Marqués de Murrieta, and it's like I'm trying to put this winery at the end of I want it to be the last one, but I am in contact with the responsibles of the winery, and the winery they still don't know because they have to put some events, and well, I'm trying to do it because it's amazing. One of my favorites in Spain. I'm totally sure you are going to enjoy. I will do my best to try it. Okay.
And Bruno, we are putting our hands in an expert. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing this for 10 years. 10 years ago, I started with this wine tourism business because I am a wine lover and food lover, and I know how to do it, and I know what the guests like yours they need, because I need the same when I go for a wine tour or a wine and gastronomy tour.
And Bruno, we would consider Bruno an adopted Coug, because in 2019 he also hosted a group of Cougars, including our president and first lady, Dr. Noel Schultz, at which time he learned the fight song. So that may or may not come up during this trip. But Melanie and Joe, let's transition to you guys. Besides being 2 of my favorite Cougs, if you could talk about Cinder, about Spain, about what people who are thinking about this trip, what do they need to know about you and the winery to get even more out of it?
Sure, no problem. Well, we've been to this region and we love this region. It was our recommendation when this idea came up, something like 4 years ago now, to visit this spot. Joe and I went there about 10 years ago to explore a lot of Tempranillo. We make Tempranillo, that's the main grape made in Rioja. And so we went as kind of a fun and also educational espionage combination of a trip, and had a fabulous time. I'm so excited to be going back, because on the list of wineries that we might visit are ones that we know, that we've been to, that were incredible, and a few that we haven't been to that we missed last time. So I'm super excited about those.
And to know that we're going to spend some time in San Sebastián is just a thrill. I mean, Bruno, he kind of covered exactly what we know about San Sebastián. It's considered the culinary capital of Spain and has an incredible concentration of Michelin-rated restaurants. So we have some new things that we're going to experience on this trip, but we have been in the Rioja region in the Basque Country, and it is definitely along with another region in Spain, the Ribera del Duero. It's kind of the ancestral home of Tempranillo. So when we're tasting the wines with you guys, we're also going to be getting a history lesson and learning so much about the crucial role that Spain, especially the northern region of Spain, has played in international wine and world-class wines. It's really fascinating from a historical standpoint to be in some of these wineries that are over 100 or more years old, hundreds of years old. To think about the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into keeping those labels going. We've been making wine with Cinder now for about 16 years, and to think that some of these labels have been there for 116 years or more is truly humbling. So, and the wine and the food is awesome. So I think all Cougs are going to appreciate it, and we're just thrilled and honored to be part of the trip. We're definitely going to be there to help people enjoy the wines. We're hands-on winemakers down here in Boise, so you might learn a couple things from us. We might be helpful with translations. Let's put it that way. Winemaking terms, or Spanish. Melanie's fluent Spanish as well. So
yeah, and I of course will be continuing my lifelong espionage and hoping to pick up more tips about winemaking along the way. But I thought about a couple anecdotes that I want to share with the group, things that I thought were just incredible when we went there. One is we're going to spend one day in the city of LaGuardia, which means the Guardian. It's a city on a hilltop, and it guards a valley between Spain and France. And so I think that's why they call it LaGuardia. And there's been tons of history there, which of course we wouldn't get into, but we might on the trip. But what fascinates me so much about that town is that it's so riddled with wine cellars that you're not allowed to drive a car on there because they're afraid that the cars might fall through the road and into the wine cellar. The whole entire hill is filled with caves, which just the idea gives me goosebumps. So I love that we're going to spend one day in that town. And then Aro, another one of the towns that we're spending a day in, is really special to me. And I don't know if everybody who watches this video will have been to Boise, but this was my takeaway from Aro. It's a town very much like Boise. It's kind of like a large town or a small city. It's very walkable and very friendly and very safe feeling, but it's a town that appears, from as far as I can tell, to have been entirely grown and based on the wine industry. You know, unlike a port town that's based on fishing or whatever, Aro is 100% about the wineries and the wine that was produced there. So the entire history, the museums, I mean, look, this Aro has statues that are winemakers doing their job in the city squares. Yeah. It's not like generals on horseback and stuff. It's winemakers.
It's people celebrating the wine,
doing something like pressing grapes or sorting grapes or whatever.
There are type of people, is what we're trying to say.
I think it might be the greatest town on earth.
Yeah.
If I didn't live in Boise, I'd want to live in Aro.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely. And as you can tell from Bruno's personality right off the bat, I mean, Spaniards are very warm people, and they're very willing to share their culture and have tons of things to be proud of. And the culinary levels and the food, the wine, is right there, world class. So I'm sure Bruno's going to introduce us to some really great people as well, because we've had those experiences when we've been in Spain before, the little one-off relationships, the insights that you weren't expecting, that you return with and really treasure afterwards. So though we are looking forward to a lot of great food and wine, I think what we'll end up doing is talking about the people that we met and the stories that we gathered when we were on the trip.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention to the group, I've been to a lot of wine regions around the world, and the Spanish wine regions stand out to me in my mind as being so friendly and so relaxed. So, you know, some regions like Napa Valley or something, even Bordeaux, I know we're going to hear about your trip to Bordeaux, they can be really intense. And the Rioja has incredible quality of wine, but really friendly, relaxed atmosphere. So it's just very fun as a foreigner to travel there, because it's not scary, you know, it's super fun and enjoyable to interact with the people on the street there. So yeah,
I'm telling you, if you end up coming on the trip, you're going to love it, and you're going to end up shipping a lot of Spanish wine back home. That's what we do. And by the way, thank you, Kelly, for letting us speak today. It's going to be a great time. And if anybody ever has any questions about what we're particularly looking forward to, you can always contact us directly at info@cinderwines.com. And we'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one about any particulars that about Spain and about our trip there. But this is going to be a great opportunity, and who wouldn't want to go with a small group? That's another thing I'm really excited about. A small group, only like 20 people. It's quite an exclusive feel, and obviously Bruno is going to be a great guide for this whole experience. So, thanks, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys. And if you aren't already excited, and I don't understand why anyone would not be, but we also have Amy and Chip. Thank you so much for speaking with everyone today. If you could talk to us about the experiences that you had, maybe some that you thought were expected and some that were unexpected, and just the quality of an Xperi trip. And then also they talked about the friendships and people. So if you could cover why Cougs would love this, that would be great.
So we went on this trip, well, originally we signed up, and then because of COVID, it got pushed out twice. So by the time we went on it, it was our empty nester trip. Our last kid was off to college. And so we had been thinking about it for a long time and planning for it after getting pushed out. And it totally exceeded our expectations. Everything on the trip was top notch, from the time we got to the train station and somebody met us there and took us to our hotel, and the accommodations, the food, the wineries, the access to special parts of the wineries. And one of them, we got to go down in the cave and see where they store their wine bottles that are 100 years old, and places where people aren't normally allowed to go. And just everything about it was just so great. And there was an extension into San Sebastián, and we didn't do it. And I wish we had, because the people who did that said that the food was amazing. And we're really kicking ourselves for not doing that.
Yeah, it was just a great experience. As Amy said, I was just really floored, as Joe was saying there, about just how small a group it was, how intimate it was, and just how special we felt to be a part of the group. And you mentioned, Kelly, about the friendships. I went excited to drink French wine and to really enjoy the culture of the area. And we came away with lifelong friendships, and we just had Thanksgiving with folks that we went on the trip with. We're invited by them to share Thanksgiving at their house. So it's just that kind of an incredible experience that Xperi puts on, and thank you to obviously the WSU Alumni Association for coming up with this just brilliant idea, and just making it top notch. Our tour guide with Xperi was just phenomenal. And as Amy mentioned, it was during COVID, and tail end of that. So there was pivoting going on all the time behind the scenes. We didn't see it. We didn't have to worry about it. We just enjoyed the trip. And it was wonderful. It was a great experience. Amy often does the organizing of our trips, and she was just laid back. We were just enjoying drinking wine and enjoying everybody's company and the architecture of the Bordeaux region and the spaces. So from what I'm hearing here, we're sorry that we're not going to be going on this trip. We have a different one planned, but I could not highly enough recommend going on this trip with Xperi that's being put on. It really, so as Amy said, so far exceeded our expectations. It was really just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and we did actually send wine home, which was a very easy process, maybe too easy, and it did show up. I don't know, a month or two later, and definitely worth the wait. And we've been enjoying that ever since. So that was a nice opportunity to get to purchase wine that we wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Yeah, and I think just one other thing that was neat about the trip. It was organized, and we had a general idea of what was going on, but there were still a few surprises thrown in. There were some neat little side trips to a market that were all set up, all orchestrated again behind the scenes. We just showed up and just enjoyed it, talking with locals there, just really getting a feel for the environment. There was one that was actually we were taken into people's home and had a little kitchen get together and did some cooking together as a group that really helped bond the group very early on. It just from start to finish, it was just an amazing experience.
Chip and Amy, thanks so much for sharing your experiences. It warms my heart to hear that you had such a good experience. So now I'll ask you, maybe looking back, you said that there were some things, and unfortunately things were different in a very positive way. But if someone was going on this trip, what advice might you have for them to get the most out of a trip like this?
Well, number one, beforehand, pack some clothes into each other's suitcase, because mine went missing and I didn't get it back for a week. So maybe next time I would carry on more of my clothes than I had done. But as far as getting ready for the trip, we didn't really do any research or anything. We just decided to just go and not really worry about what to expect. It was more just experience what they had to offer, and we learned so much about just wine in general and that area. I mean, I don't feel like it was crammed down our throats, but it was just fascinating, all of the wine areas and the wineries, and just our tour guide was amazing, and just what they told us, and just this historical perspective, like it was really great. They did give us a reading list beforehand, and I did read a couple of the books, and I thought that was useful, because I felt like going in, I had a little bit, I kind of knew what they were talking about. Not that you had to do any reading, I just thought it was kind of fun to do some of that beforehand.
That's a great idea. I love that. All right. I don't think that I have yet put the trip link in chat, so it is now in chat. We'll start with some more round robin questions. And so if you come on off mute when I haven't asked you a question, I'll assume you have something great to add and we can do that. But we'll start, Bruno, with you. You have led so many of these trips. You have a great fan following. What, from your perspective, what are people most surprised about at the conclusion of a trip? What do they come up and want to talk to you about at the end?
Well, I have the same opinion as Joe. The connection with the people. The connection, in my case, I have to tell you that at the end of every experience, I have 20 more friends. In my case, for me, it's amazing. For me, it's amazing because I like the father, the mother, the son, the guide during a week, and then the connection at the end of the week is amazing and fantastic for me. But not only me, people in the wineries, the connection you can, well, normally your guests are, or the people from the wine lovers from the States are, they try to learn everything about, and they try to ask all the things about the winemaking and everything, but they have a lot of interest in the people, the way of life, in the traditions, in the families, how they live in Spain, and they connect very well with the people. But not only this, in the case of these wine tours in La Rioja, well, the quality of the wines related with the prices, if you compare with Bordeaux or Napa Valley or this that regions you have mentioned, well, the quality of the wines and the good value for money of the wines are something that the people at the end of the week is one of the best points of the tours, and of course the food, but the most important is the connection between the people, between the guests and the guides, the waiters, everybody, the staff in the hotel, with everybody, the connection.
Oh, I love that too. There's so many things I love. Erica, if I could ask you if there's anything in general that you think we should have covered by now, but also, can you talk about what's really different about an Xperi-led trip than maybe another trip that people may have gone on?
I think the exciting thing about Xperi trips is kind of just what everyone's talking about. It is these small, really intimate groups, which create such incredible connections. It grows a sense of community. There is obviously, you are going to be like-minded folks, all alum from the same area. So that is a common thread that will bring you together. But spending this kind of time and experiencing these kind of trips together really creates something that's extra special, extra unique, and really hard to do in any other environment. So that's really exciting. And again, also just the access and the local knowledge that Xperi is able to give everybody. So you will have, like everyone's saying, anyone can go to Spain and visit wineries. We know that, but what you don't have is the expertise and the local connections to different people to interact, like Bruno said, and get to know the culture and the way people live and the way people have been doing things. So it just gives you such incredible access, which is so great. So we love that. And also the other thing about Xperi that I love for our guests is that you can do as much research as you want. You can read all the books, you can look into it, or you can just say, I'm signing up, I'm going, and you don't have to think. I know there are a lot of people that are really meticulous planners, and that's great. And this is an opportunity, if you want, to not do that at all. You can just let go and trust fall and just trust that it's going to be such an awesome experience. When you do sign up, you will be hearing from me a lot. I will reach out, so you don't have to remember, you don't have to create a checklist of what to bring. We will literally give that to you. We'll give you the reading list like they were talking about. So if you wanted to read, we'll give you packing lists, weather, all kinds of just those things that I think kind of concern people, like what do I bring? How do I do it? How do I get there? We're going to answer all of that. We give that all to you. You can always reach out to me if you don't feel like and we're always just a phone call and an email away. So you just really, I send you the information, you deliver it back to me and take what you need and just kind of show up. That's the luxury of this, is you can just sort of show up if you want, and it's going to be one of the best trips you go on. So it's a really exciting thing we get to do.
Thank you. Melanie and Joe, I'm going to take it back to you again for a second, and because I like to ask two-part questions because it's hard to remember all of that. Number one, you guys have been to the region before, I believe, a few times. Do you have any advice for people that are coming and for people to know? Could you tell your Coug story, how you met? tell your kook story, how you met.
About coming on the trip, I would just say that it's a climate similar to, similar to Boise or Eastern Washington or something. It's high elevation desert kind of, so it can be cool at night, hot during the day. I just pack in tons of layers. And of course, wine cellars are always cold, and there's a lot of cobblestones involved. So just come prepared for good walking, layered clothing, and then a couple nice outfits for the amazing restaurants that we're going to hit in San Sebastián and Bilbao. But generally speaking, the Rioja region is fairly casual. So, I don't think you need any ball gowns.
And the Cantabrian, I believe, Cantabrian mountains are beautiful. So there's going to be some high elevation vistas, at least, that's for sure. I think you're going to be, if you're not at all looking at some of the architecture, then you're going to turn around, you're going to see some beautiful landscapes. So just have some room, I guess, on your iPhone to take pictures. And then Melanie and I met at the Cub.
Yeah. In the cafeteria in the Cub.
She knew a group of friends that were studying, and then I happened to sit down. And basically, long story short, as all love stories are, two of the biggest flirts ever sat at the same table in college, and the rest is history.
But we met in the same room my parents met also. They met in the cafeteria at the Cub back in like 1950 or something.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny.
And now we have two little ones, and we have wines named after them. 10 years ago, what was the last time we were in Spain? We brought our daughter, Charlie Valentina, with us. We quickly learned that she needed to go by her middle name when she was in Spain, Valentina. People were very confused when we told them that our daughter's name was Charlie. Once we started just calling her Valentina, all the doors opened for us. It's not an uncommon name in Spain. So everyone had like a grandmother or a sister that was named Valentina. The people were so warm, they would kiss her feet. I remember that's how they say hi to little babies there in Spain. So it was just a great time.
Coming near the end of our time together, which is a little bit sad, but that also gives people an opportunity to sign up for the trip. So I would like to open it to anyone that has, you remembered, there was something I wanted to share. Does anyone have anything else to add?
I think I'll just share one thing. If I had a regret from the trip, it was not taking some time to refresh my high school French lessons. So I definitely would have done that. The people in Paris and France and Bordeaux where we were actually very generous, not like what many people here, but still I think it would be a nice honorable thing to do to know a little bit just to show people the respect as you're visiting their country. So I offer that as not necessary, but I would have spent more time doing that if I had it to do over again.
I would say my one recommendation would be, in the lead up to the trip, drink a lot of Cinder Tempranillo. It's a very beautiful Tempranillo. It has some similarities to the beautiful Tempranillos of Rioja. So we just don't want you going in completely at zero, with this sort of thing. We want you to have an idea. Okay, this is a New World Tempranillo, and now let's go. Now let's go see where it all began.
If I had one thing to say, we actually went early and spent some time in Paris because of Paris, of course, but also it was nice to be over jet lag by the time the tour started. So we didn't have to worry about that the first few days. I think it was day 4 or 5, it hit us hard. So just FYI, expect that if you have the resources to go a few days early and get some extra sleep, because it's a long flight. You might want to do that.
And I believe Bruno's and Xperi offer a an additional extension of the trip. And so we're going to be asking Bruno and Erica about that. And so that's an option as well, to just, not end the party too soon.
Well, what a great segment into. Bruno, could you talk about the extension?
Yes, of course. You know that in Spain we have the pilgrims way, the Santiago's way. Every year, thousands of pilgrims go to Santiago through this route. It has around 600 years. It's 600 years old, around, or more, maybe 800 years. It's the first touristic route, but it was, of course, the tourist, not tourism. It was a pilgrim route. They have two ways. No, they have more than two ways, because you can go to Santiago. Let's come back to my map of the wines of Spain and Portugal. Okay, Santiago is here, northwest, Santiago de Compostela. There are the French route, come from France, from the Pyrenees, and go through this part of Spain, the north of Castilla. But the most beautiful, well, then you have the Portuguese route, the Madrid route, but the north route come from a beautiful way near the sea. And this is the most beautiful part for me. The most beautiful part of Spain, okay, is the green Spain. It's more similar to Ireland or Scotland than to the rest of Spain because of these mountains, the Cantabric mountains that stops the rain. And, well, our proposal of extension of the trip is 4 days, making like 20 kilometers per day. And stopping in very beautiful small villages with a lot of history, with a lot of very good restaurants, because the quality of the gastronomy in the north of Spain is the same as in San Sebastián or Bilbao. It's the best restaurants of Spain are there, and then we can combine some exercise after the wine tours, like 15-20 kilometers, not too much. I think it's very affordable. Of course, with some activities for the people that they don't want to walk, and then some visit. The points that we are selected are beautiful. Santillana del Mar, Comillas, Llanes, 3 of the most beautiful villages in the north of Spain. I think it's very interesting to end with this extension.
Well, I had incredibly high expectations for our gathering today, and you all have exceeded them. Bruno, to have someone in Spain that's such an expert, knowing that you can take care of everything on the trip is amazing. Melanie and Joe, huge fan of the winery already, but to have someone that you've been there, you know the area, what a great option. Chip and Amy, thank you for being willing to share your experiences before. I don't know if you're changing your mind on being able to go to this trip after hearing all of this. Erica, thank you so much for everything you've already done for the people that have signed up for the trip, but those that are getting ready to. You really just take all of the stress out of that process. It's going to be an amazing trip. Bruno and Erica will make it incredibly easy for you. Joe and Melanie will have such great information.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
When the winter is bitter and cold, and the spring is yet to unfold, may your heart be strong and your love remain.